What's up, everybody? I'm Sly The Movie Guy, and here's my movie review of F9, directed by Justin Lin, starring Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, John Cena, and the rest of the other cast and crew. And in this film, Dom Toretto is living the quiet life off the grid with Letty and his son, but they know the danger always lurks over the peaceful horizon. This time, the threat forces Dom to confront the sins of his past to save those he loves most. His crew soon comes together to stop a world-shattering plot by the most skilled assassin and high-performance driver they've ever encountered, Dom's forsaken brother. And this film was supposed to come out last year, but due to the pandemic, like the other films I've done reviewed in the channel and said it before, this film got postponed because of the pandemic and stuff. And it finally got a release date and stuff like that. And for me, I'm a big fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, especially when it comes to the first film and then Fast 5 and 6, which I think were the best films out of the franchise. 7 and 8, I thought they were okay. I mean, they're not clearly like my favorites, but I can watch those like a couple of times and stuff because of the characters and stuff and some of the cool action stuff in the film. But I'd say Fast 5 and 6 were like the best ones and stuff, in my opinion. And then the first one I thought is like the one that started it all was really good. Then I'll say Hobbs and Shaw, that's part of the Fast and Furious franchise. It's a fun film. I remember watching it in I think it came out in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. I thought that was a very fun film with The Rock and Jason Statham and stuff like that. So I highly recommend you checking that film out if you haven't seen it yet. It's a lot of fun. It's over top, actually. So I say check it out. And I did a review on my channel. Click on that circle icon on top. So the Fast and Furious franchise, there's like the hit and miss when it comes to these films and stuff. And this film, when I saw the trailer of it, I was like, okay. I mean, there's some stuff I found in the trailer that was like completely hilarious and stuff. So I was like, okay, if this is what the film's going to do and stuff. So I was just like, hey, it is what it is. So, like with the trailers, I want to like say, ooh, this is my most anticipated film. I was like kind of like pretty much was like thinking the franchise was done after like 7 and stuff with the Paul Walker thing, rest in peace, so like that. So I think after like 7, I was kind of like, okay, can they stop? But then they made 8 and stuff, and then I was like, is this gonna be it? And then when they said 9 is gonna be the last one, I was like, okay, let's just see how this is. So, with this film, my expectations wasn't like high. This wasn't like my most anticipated films and stuff, because pretty much Fast and Furious went kind of like this cartoony route, and I'm kind of like not believing like these were like real people that became like cartoon characters and stuff like that. Close around 8, some still got so ridiculous and stuff. So I was like, oh, this is getting ridiculous. So 9, I was kind of expecting that to be the same way a little bit, like that, like over top action and stuff, but mostly just seeing the characters that I know and love from the previous films. So I checked the film out, and for me, I thought the film was okay. And I know there's going to be people who be like, oh, you didn't enjoy what happened and stuff. I'll explain my review. Let me start off with the positives and stuff. If there's a whole lot to this film, the characters, pretty much, like I said, the characters that I know and love from the previous film, I think the characters are the same from the previous film and stuff, like Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto and Letty, played by Michelle Rodriguez, and then Taj Ludacris, Roman, played by Tyrese Gibson and stuff like that. These characters, they the same from the previous films. That put a smile on my face. Then there's a couple of characters that from the previous Fast and the Furious films, and not getting into any spoilers, but you pretty much know, like Samo, they're back and they came back in this sequel and stuff. So I was like, oh, wow. I didn't expect that. I was kind of like shocked because I didn't read none of the cast members that was in this film. I kind of went into this film like knowing the main people from the previous films, and some characters actually kind of shocked me coming back. I was like, what? So it did bring a smile on my face watching this movie when I was seeing the characters. The personality is still the same, so that wasn't changed, and the chemistry is still there. And then you add some other characters like Nathalie, Emmanuel in there and stuff. Then you got John Cena and Charlize Theron. So there's new characters and some old characters that from the previous like Fast and Furious films and stuff like that. So I was like kind of happy with that, seeing some of the characters that I know and love and stuff. So that's one of the positives I say for this film. The action. Some of the action stuff was I say was good. I say some of it I like, okay, this works for me. I can get to the action stuff. This action really like I feel that. So I was like, okay, that works. Some of it worked, and that's a little bit of the positive I can say for that. If I'm really gonna like narrow it down when it comes to like the action, how do I say it, man? And this could be this. It all depends how you're viewing it, because I know some people going on like ongoing movie fans who's not going to critique it is going to say, "Wow, this is the amazing action here." And the action I say is really, really like it's like it's you get a lot of it. I mean, there's a lot of action you will get out of it. For me, I got a lot of it, but is it a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I say it can be a good thing, but for me, it was a bad thing. And there was a lot of it, but the problem with the action is the characters feel like they're like Superman or something. They're invincible. And it's weird because when you see like action heroes, you're supposed to feel for them because they like in this like dangerous like situation and stuff. And that's not the case for this film, because when it comes to Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez's character and stuff like that in this film, and Ludacris' character and Tyrese Gibson, they felt like they were like regular humans. I mean, throughout the film, the action is just the action they're in. They just felt like superheroes, and it took me out of the movie. And like I said, the action was really cool. There's some of it was like awesome, but they really like took it like to the extreme level, like up to here, like they went for it. And it just like, they just took it like to a cartoony route and stuff where it didn't make it very realistic. And I know people gonna say, well, you shouldn't expect that because the later installments did that in Fast and Furious. But yeah, but I wanted the sense of like where I feel for these characters. And these characters, I just didn't feel it when it came to the like the vulnerability and the battles and stuff. I just didn't feel it, which makes the action kind of felt meaningless here for me personally as I was watching the film. So I was watching the film, and it got to the point where it got so ridiculous, especially when they were battling in this type of forest and stuff with the woods and stuff, where Tyrese Gibson's character, and this might contain a little spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film yet, I say check out if you really want to know some stuff. I'm going to try not to spoil, but there's a couple characters when it was like gun shootings going on, and there's literally bullet holes in their shirts, and their characters stay still standing, and I'm like, okay, multiple bullet shots and they have not dead. That part of me, when I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, this is going way too far. What the heck's going on? It doesn't make sense. I couldn't relate to it. It just felt so ridiculous. Then there was a couple of action scenes where the car action stuff, which I really love the car action stuff. I think the Fast Furious films in the later installments have done good with the car action stuff and all that, but they have went full throttle with it. I mean, like, they went over the top with it where it really, really, literally took me out of the movie. Like, it went like there's a couple of action scenes that I'm like, okay, this doesn't work here, yo. I can't. In this one scene, I was just like, you really gotta be kidding me. And then the little spoiler that they actually went out in space. I'm not kidding. I'm sorry if you're watching this video and you got spoiled by that, but they literally went in space. And it's been on the internet. They said this Fast and Furious film might go into space and stuff like that. And hey, they did it. They literally did it. I was like, they really went for it. And this film took guts, but and took risks, but this was not the case. You shouldn't do this with this film, man. They really went for it. And oh God, and the action, like I said, some of it was good, but then overall, it took me out of the movie because these characters, they didn't get hurt or nothing. And I love to feel for our like protagonists, and it just didn't work. the story, I just didn't feel it. They were trying to do this that where Vin Diesel and John Cena as like the brothers and stuff, like the brother that's the villain is like the biggest baddest one is like putting our main like hero, our main characters in danger and stuff. And that storyline just didn't work for me, especially when it came to like the flashbacks and stuff. When they used a flashback in a particular scene with one of our characters, the main character is Vin Diesel. When they used that, it just kind of didn't work, especially when it came to one of the action scenes that just made it so unbelievable what Vin Diesel does in film. If you know what I'm talking about, if you have seen a movie, it is just so utterly ridiculous. I don't know what to even say. I actually was laughing. I'm like, really? And Vin Diesel felt like Superman. I mean, the action stuff, when it comes to Vin Diesel, he doesn't get bruised at all. And that goes for everybody. They're jumping off cars and everything. And I'm just like, really? And I'm just going to leave the action alone. And like I said, the storyline, like I said, I'm getting out of place with storyline and action. But man, the storyline, like I said, I couldn't relate to it with the flashback stuff and the vulnerability. And the flashbacks would have worked and all that stuff, but it doesn't work because our characters are not virtually like getting hurt in the action stuff. If they were and stuff, and the flashbacks and stuff would have like matched together, I would have been like, okay, this really works. And it just doesn't. And what really hurt this film for me is the comedy. And usually Fast and Furious films do really good with the comedy, but here they just went out of their way with this. It just falls flat. There's a couple of moments I say there was like good funny moments and stuff like that in this film, like when it comes to like Ludacris and stuff like that. There's a couple of stuff like what he does to Tyrese Gibson, which I won't get into, but it worked a little bit, but for the majority of the film, it just it didn't work. And Vin Diesel is not funny at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Vin Diesel, but he's one of the actors that is not known to be like one-liner jokes. So that's one of the things I say what hurts this film alone, the comedy. And Hobbs and Shaw is really good with the comedy. I mean, The Rock and Jason Statham going back with each other, that really works with those characters. That was like absolutely phenomenal. I really like those characters. They really did good in that film. I highly recommend checking that film out, man. Oh, the comedy really works in this film. This comedy just doesn't work. Charlize Theron is barely in the film, and that's pretty much, I mean, are there any more things I can say about this film? The film would have been a little bit, like I say, maybe interesting or better if you have had The Rock and Jason Statham. And as I was watching the film, I was like, man, if you just had those two guys in this film would have worked like a charm. I mean, literally, I mean, the previous Fast and the Furious film, when you had those characters, it literally worked. Because these guys are very entertaining. They know how to give out quippy one-liner jokes and stuff. I mean, Jason Statham, we know he can like do like tremendous comedy. Then we know The Rock and stuff. I mean, these guys are very entertaining. If you just added that in this film, it would have made the film a little bit like, okay, this film works. And that's one of the things I can say that I forgot to mention as I was going on this review. I think those two guys would have made this film a lot better than what we got. And it just, for me at least, I feel like that. Because as I was watching the film, I really missed The Rock and Jason Statham, man. Oh, man. Oh, Lord. What more I could go on to? This is Justin Lin. He's the director of this film. So I'm thinking like after 5 and 6, this director would have known how to craft this film and stuff. I mean, he directed two of the one of probably the best sequels of the franchise, 5 and 6. So what happened here, I don't know. He must have done collected some of what the fans said on the internet and then put all the theories and stuff together and ideas in there. And this movie felt like a fan service, which I don't mind fan service unless you make a good story and add the fan service in the middle of it. it can work. It can work. Like, you can strike gold with that anytime. If you can make a good story in that, the fan service stuff in there, it can work. Like Avengers Endgame, which I'm not going to compare this film to Avengers Endgame, not even close. But Avengers Endgame, there was a lot of fan service in that film, but the storyline was so good that the fan service works. And in Doctor Sleep, the fan service worked in that. There's a lot of films I can mention where the fan service really works. This film, the story just, and when it came to the fan service, just doesn't work at all. And I just don't get what Justin Lin was doing here with the direction he was going for, and it just doesn't work. Boy, and I'm just gonna leave it as that. Overall, did I hate this movie? Not in the slightest, but I can't see myself watching this like over and over again. This is easily maybe the weakest film out of the franchise. If I'm being completely honest, maybe I'm once in a blue moon I can watch it. Do I recommend this to fans? If you really wanted to check this film out, I say go ahead, check it out. I mean, there's like I said, there's a lot of action here that you will enjoy and stuff. You might enjoy the humor here. I don't know. It's just based on people's viewing and opinions. For me, some stuff worked, but overall, I just wasn't like a huge fan of this film, and I'm sorry to be the one that be like, I like the sore loser about this film, but hey, I wanted to like it, but hey, it wasn't a film for me. The stuff that was done in here just didn't work, didn't hit me on the right notes, and overall, I'm going to give F9 a C-. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this film. Did you like it or not? Let me know. Thoughts and opinions. I would love to know what you thought about this film. Hey, if you like this film, hey, I'm happy for you. For me, it just didn't work. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'd say check it out. I mean, this is just my opinion. I'd say make your mind up about this film. Like I said, there's some fun stuff they have with this film, but it's very minimal for me. But anyways, that's pretty much it. And as always, if you like this video, click thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, click subscribe and the bell button for more feature content. That's all I can see you next time on Sly the Movie Guy. Peace.